It's Thursday night, and you know what that means. Just a Bit Outside radio show live on the air, live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Share that link, share that love, as we always say. You got Mark, you got Keisha. Keisha, how's it going?
Hey, what's poppin' outsiders? Happy Football Thursday. Got a lot of stuff going on this past week as well as this upcoming weekend, and I'm so happy to discuss it with you all this evening, man. How you doing today, Mark?
Just living that struggle, you know? Monday through
Yeah,
Friday.
man. And the weather's been kind of nice this week for real. You know, we've been getting scorched the past couple of weeks. You know, a nice 80, 81 degree day. That shit feel real good, bro.
Yeah, it's been nice, but those storms that came through the other night, that was wild.
Okay, so yes, go ahead.
They were hitting at like 1 a.m. and your phone's blowing up with those warnings and shit.
Yo, I struggled this week. I'm a light sleeper, for real. So, you know, when that thunder started coming down, man, you know, I sat straight up, and I'm not wanting to go back to sleep like easily. So, you know, man, this week has just really been a struggle for me. You know, dealing with the storms and, you know, going to ball games and everything. I feel like I'm hanging on by a thread tonight, but here we are. Outsiders, what's going on around town? We got the Baltimore Orioles, who still have the kung fu grip on the American League. We got a pretty big division series coming up against Tampa Bay Rays. Kicks off tonight, right, Mark?
I would dare say it's the most important series of the season so far.
Okay, you guys. I was out there last night for the conclusion against the St. Louis Cardinals, which I gotta say I was a little disappointed with the outcome, given that St. Louis has just been so horrible this year.
Yeah.
We ended up losing that series. I mean, we've played a hell of a lot better ball clubs, man, and we've swept teams. We have, you know, won series. It was just, I mean, I just feel like this particular past series was definitely a head scratcher for us, man. But there was a lot of exciting things with this series. Most notably, Mark, is the return of John Means.
Yeah.
John Means business. He's back on the bump, man. That was kind of exciting. He took that L on Tuesday, but it was very good to see him back. You know, he is one of our heavy hitters in our pitching arsenal. It was great to see him come back, and you know, I know the first game, I'm not going to judge him off the first game, outsiders, because he had been gone for quite a while. Mark, was this the shoulder injury?
Yeah, he had Tommy John's.
Okay. And the Tommy John too. Okay.
He had that surgery like 18 months ago or so.
Okay,
crazy.
yeah. It's been so long, it just seems like he's been gone forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just so hard to believe that, you know, the Orioles have, you know, orchestrated a season, such a successful season without him. I mean, you know, he's legit our ace.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, but you know, with us kind of losing the mountain, Felix Bautista for a little while, who I think is getting ready to come back. I think
He said he plans on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's been out there with the team. He's been kind of doing little throw arounds before the game and stuff like that. So, you know, yeah. So with us, kind of still being on the man with Bautista, it was good to bring John Means back and see his beautiful face out there, you know, throwing the heat rock for the Orioles, because Lord knows, now, you know, we're about to really need him. I mean, we are down to the last, I don't know, what, 2.5 weeks
Yeah,
of the regular season?
17 games.
17 games. Okay, so 17 games. That's like 3 weeks for real. Yeah, maybe a little over 3 weeks. So, right, it's going to be great to have him back, man. So, yeah, back to this series against Tampa Bay. I was saying it at the game last night. Like, this is seriously, single-handedly hands down the most important series of the Orioles season. A lot can be determined here. We currently have a 2-game lead over the Tampa Bay Rays. So two things can happen here, outsiders. Either we can create some more separation, which we would really love to have, or we could lose that lead. We could do that. So we're really looking for our guys to bring their A game. Everybody to come with the heat rock tonight.
Can I make you mad?
Oh God, what?
4-game series.
I know it is. I know. That's why I was like, it's so important, And at the worst, at the absolute worst, what? We talking split? Is that what we want at the absolute worst?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got Kyle Bradish on the bump tonight against a very good Aaron Civale for the Tampa Bay Rays. Kyle Bradish has had a few more games pitching for the Orioles than Tampa's pitcher, but they're pretty even with their stats, man. The ERA. I mean, if you take it to if you factor in the lack of games, hits, Ks, walks. This is definitely going to be. I feel like it's going to be a pitcher's duel tonight. Okay.
Yeah. Bradish has a home ERA of 2.26.
Is it really? Okay, that is fantastic.
But
that's awesome. I did not know that.
But somehow his home record is 4-3. Even
Holy
with that
crap.
low of an ERA. And I just looked up Civale's. His away ERA 2.03 was a record of 4-2.
Okay.
It's going to be a good one. Like it could be a low scoring one too.
Yeah. Yep. So there you go. First easy money pick of the night. Outsiders. Can I say Mark, Keisha, and Mark like this? Can I say that?
Yeah.
Keisha and Mark liking that under for tonight's game against the Tampa Bay Rays. Write it down and book it. Outsiders, we also have a guest tonight. You know how much I love bringing my peoples through, how much I love having guests. And tonight I have a good friend of mine who I played softball with. This has been my number one rollie with the Orioles games this year. She also took me to my first WNBA game, and I will forever be indebted to her for that. I have Sherelle Henson on the line. Lemon, what's poppin', baby?
What up?
Now, Mark, Sherelle's actually on her way to the game. Or have you reached the yard yet, Sherelle?
No, we're getting ready to park pretty soon, so just bear with me, guys.
Okay. So Sherelle's on her way down to the yard to check out this awesome matchup, which just so happens to be on national TV tonight too. This lets you know how important. You said what?
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's on Fox. So this just lets you know how important this is. Not only is it important to us, not only is it important to Tampa Bay, but everybody around the league, everybody in the AL, especially everybody in the AL East is going to have their eyes on this series this weekend, man. It's so crazy. How excited are you to be out there tonight, Sherelle?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said, how excited are you to be out there tonight?
Man, I am super, super excited. I am still in my head that we're going to the World Series. That's just going to be, like, in my head. I'm excited to be here tonight and also tomorrow night.
Yes, and thank you for that alley-oop. I'm going to go ahead and dunk it home. Tomorrow night, Sherelle and I will be out there. We talked about it last week. It is Adam Jones Day. So all of the fans of number 10, come one, come all. We'll be out there chopping it up, having drinks, throwing them back. At least I will. Sherelle will be throwing back delicious beverages of other kinds. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna be out there chopping it up, and I'm proclaiming it, JABO Day. So if any of our listeners are gonna be out there, yo, hit me up. We can have a drink. We can take some pictures. It's definitely going to be a good time. The game tomorrow, I believe, starts at 7:05. And Mark, Jana was out there last night. I was talking to her. You're going to have a special ceremony. There's a giveaway. Of course, they're going to give away those number 10 T-shirts. You know how much we love this guy, man. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it for a long time.
Yeah. And Sherelle, I heard you recently copped that new City Connect jersey, so I know you're looking forward to rocking that joint.
Yeah. I'm wearing it tonight. And
you wearing it tonight?
I'm looking real fly.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's what we love to hear. We love to keep it fresh. We love to keep it fly at JABO. But the reason why I have Sherelle here, guys, tonight, I made mention earlier, Sherelle took me to my very first Mystics game this summer. I've been telling you guys how we, Mark and I, have made a commitment to spend more time on the WNBA as well as other various women's sports. And, I feel like I have done that. And I have done that with the help of my friend on the line here. So, I thought it would be great for her to call in because let me just tell you guys, she knows her stuff. She knows her stuff when it comes to the WNBA. She's a very big basketball fan and a very big Mystics fan, very big Dawn Staley fan, very big, excuse me, guys, Natasha Cloud fan. So, I thought it would be great to have her come on as the WNBA playoffs started, last night. Right? We had two big games.
Yes.
Two big games, two big shutouts. First was between. First one was the Connecticut Sun and who was that? Connecticut. It was Connecticut and Minnesota.
Did I get that right? Yep, Minnesota.
Yep, Connecticut and Minnesota. Second game was Chicago and Las Vegas. We're not gonna spend too much time on these two matchups because I actually feel like. I hate to say it, neither one of these squads has a chance. And, if the first game is any indication, I mean, we're talking about 30-point blowouts here on both sides. Man, it was rough to watch. It was really rough to watch. So we're not going to talk about that too much. But what we are going to talk about tonight is, the upcoming matchups. One, with the Washington Mystics and the New York Liberty, that's kind of we count them as the home team here at JABO, and talking about the WNBA playoffs as a whole. So first things first, Sherelle, I would like to ask you, this is in regards to the WNBA as a whole. You've been watching all season. You've been watching the teams develop. You've been the trends. As we do know that there are certain teams like the Connecticut Sun who have been trending upwards towards the end of this season, and other teams like our beloved Las Vegas Aces that have been trending downward. So, but what I would like to ask you is, what matchup is the most intriguing for you of the first round?
So I know it's very biased, and but it's just like really actual and factual. But the Mystics Liberty game, I think, is going to be the most intriguing. It was crazy because the Liberty had they closed the second half of the season out with a 14-2 run, and the upset of the last two was based on the Mystics. The Mystics was one team. So, it's kind of like that was totally unexpected. The odds were everyone went with New York, and Brittany Sykes and Natasha Cloud held it down with the last second shot that won the game.
Yes, so I remember that night.
I'm very excited, to see what in the world that's going to look like.
I remember us texting back and forth that night. I mean, you were like on edge, pins and needles, all the way down to the last.
And the blood pressure was up. I almost thought I was gonna have a flipping heart attack.
Yeah, and you know, as Sherelle expressed, I mean, that ended up Brittany Sykes ended up having that buzzer beater, and you know, the Washington Mystics have been able to, you know, was able to end the season on a high note. And Mark, you know how I feel about that, you know, and having that energy going into the postseason.
Oh, momentum's always huge.
Yeah. So you said the Washington Mystics, New York Liberty is the most intriguing. I like that pick.
So, for sure. And then maybe a second, the Dallas. I know you didn't ask me, but the Dallas game in Atlanta. I mean, we say those two. Like you said, 30% blowout. I think, you know, seed-wise, Dallas and Atlanta are closer, so I think that we should see a better game for sure.
Okay. And both of these games are kicking off tomorrow night. We know that, you know, Mark and I have been saying that New York Liberty has been one of these quote-unquote super teams of the WNBA. And, you know, the Washington Mystics are no slouch either, for real. But they've had their share of injuries throughout the season. It looks like we're back at full strength now. You know, how do you like the Washington Mystics' chances in this upcoming series?
So, for real, it's finally, like, light at the end of the tunnel, almost. Like, they're not at 100%. But, you know, due to injury, the Mystics really have had, like, a really hard time. You think about it, we've had really key factors such as Elena Deladon, Ariel Atkins, and Shakira Austin, you know, practically all out at the same time. So the momentum that we had in the first half was definitely different from what we're seeing now. So, you know, a lot of those different factors definitely, you know, are very significant, you know, in order to kind of get ahead. You know, just looking at the matchup itself, I mean, New York is a great team. Realistically, they are second seeded. However, you know, really looking at this second half of the season, like I mentioned before, they're closing like with a 14-2 run, you know, a franchise record of like 32 games. You know, but with, you know, a lot of different things, you know, we have to kind of watch out, you know, for Liberty is Jonquel Jones. You know, a lot of people know the main players of Liberty such as Brianna Stewart, you know, Sabrina.
Sherelle, I'm sorry. Yes. Hey, Sherelle, are we getting like a little background noise? It's kind of hard to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They rerouted us on the parking situation. I guess everyone's out at the game today, so I do apologize about that.
No worries. But you said Jonquel Jones. Yeah.
Jonquel Jones, a lot of people don't talk about her on, you know, the Liberty team, and she's someone that we definitely, you know, need to watch out for in terms of the Mystics. She's a former MVP. She got off to like a slow start this season, but this is the time. I mean, that's any sport. You know, the regular season is great. You have this great momentum, but it's the playoffs that really, really matter. You know, and if we take it one game at a time, and, you know, out of these first two games, I feel like if we at least pull one out and get that third game back at home, you know, home is always a good look. You have the support of fans. I mean, New York, I went for the first time this year to the Barclays Center. It is huge. And so, you know, that aura that they're giving to the New York team, it makes a difference. You know, how they play is a big factor, but the support. And, you know, the Mystics, you know, they're coming along, but they definitely need more support. But I think that we have a great shot. I mean, Elena Deladon is back. Ariel Atkins is back. Unfortunately, Shakira Austin re-injured her hip. You know, just coming back. So, you know, there's that momentum and cohesiveness of, like, pulling the band back short. You know, Brittany Sykes, she was, you know, signed primarily for her defense, but had a breakout season on the offense end. And, you know, she's a major reason why the team stayed afloat despite the injuries. I mean, you know, you had Natasha Cloud, you know, great point guard. You know, you have a lot of different players, and it's a lot of different talent that I think that, you know, really, really is going to get us there. You know, also, New York is really great with, you know, three-pointers. They are. But in terms of the volume and the accuracy from behind the arc, it becomes a math problem for most opponents. So as long as, the Mystics can kind of stay ahead of that, we have some 3 shooters on our team as well. So definitely kind of, giving them a run there. And I think that one potential concern for Liberty in the department is that, because of the threes are such an integral part of their offense, I think the percentage was 30% of their points, they come from downtown this season. Mm-hmm. So a cold shooting night can leave them in trouble. And, despite the fact that Sabrina Ionescu and, Courtney Vandersloot, they're really great players, but, they get in trouble when people get in front of them and they lose their dribble. And, some type of players like Brittany Sykes, defensively, she'll snag the ball. So, there's a real fighting chance for Mystics to kind of go all the way.
So I'm going to ask you this: what percentage would you say that the Mystics have at winning this series? I mean, would you say would you give them a 50-50? Would you give them a 40-60?
I would definitely give them a 50-50 if we can stay healthy.
I like it. I like it.
Like the beginning of the season, we had a great run, and that's realistically with the injuries is the only reason why we're seeded 7. I honestly believe if we didn't have the injuries, we probably would have placed 4th, maybe even 5th, worst case scenario. But the injuries really hurt us. Yeah, Mark. At the beginning of the season, we too had high hopes for the Mystics. I remember us talking about it, and also there are a lot of people out there right now who are saying, listen, do not underestimate the Washington Mystics in this series. So now this brings me to my very next question, Sherelle, for you, since you've recently joined my ranks in my betting army. We have the current line right now. The odds is New York Liberty minus 9.5 against our beloved Mystics. Are you buying 9.5? That's a whole lot of points. Are you buying that line? No.
Yeah, I like it too. Me too. Me personally, being biased again, I honestly am believing in the Mystics. Realistically, though, again, it's kind of like starting over. You can have great athletes, but once they're sitting on a bench and they're cold for a while, regardless of the rehabilitation and stuff, once that cohesiveness kind of goes out the door, it makes it a lot harder. Watching the Aces last night, I mean, realistically, they did play the ace-seeded team. I really was very disappointed that it was a 30-point loss. I didn't think Sky was going to win, but I really didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. Right, ass whipping, right?
When you think about it, they had 4 players in double digits last night. Kelsey Plum is a problem. Of course, we know Asia Wilson is a problem. Chelsea motherfucking Gray. She is an artist out there. You know what I mean? And she even made this comment is she uses the court every night as a blank canvas to kind of paint a new picture. I mean, she's just phenomenal. And then Jackie Young last night was on fire. So if they play like they played yesterday, which, is not really likely because New York is a better team, overall, but they're hungry. They really, the Aces, they want it again.
So, do you like the Mystics at plus 9.5, or are you more leaning towards the New York Liberty on that one?
Definitely, I am leaning towards the Mystics. My bet is already in. Already, my bet is very close. I'm going all the way with the Mystics. You already know.
I love it. It's gutsy. I love it. Let's start the season off, shocking the WNBA. And I'm going to go ahead and put the Major Key stamp on that as well. Outsiders. Very next easy money pick of the night is tomorrow. But you can go ahead and put it on tonight's ticket with everything else we're talking about. Washington Mystics plus 9.5. Book it. Now, Sherelle, we've been talking about the matchups and what's been going on currently. I'm going to ask you, who do you think is going to take it all this year? I mean, do you think the Las Vegas Aces are poised for a repeat? I mean, I saw Aja. She's back out on the court, crip walking, and she's looking like, she's ready to run it back. But, I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, we talked a little bit about the Connecticut Sun. We talked about the New York Liberty. I mean, there's some other contenders out there. Who do you think? I mean, shit, we're not going to count the Washington Mystics out either. But who do you think is going to take it all?
It's really, really hard to say. I think that, these next couple of games are definitely going to be game changers to really watch what's out there. I think the Aces, they definitely won it. Last night game, they kind of show, Kelsey Plum kind of slowed down a little bit. She's finally gotten into her rhythm. I'm going with the Mystics. I am, as crazy as it sounds. But like you said, there's so many different players, and we're talking about these main top-seeded teams. You mentioned the Suns. You got Alyssa Thomas, who I honestly believe deserves MVP, despite what anyone says. You got DeWanna Bonner. They had a phenomenal game. I think one put up like 15 points, one put up like 17. And I can't forget my girl from Dallas, Arike. I mean, you have people, Dangerfield, the two, what is her name? The two there, you have a lot of talent in the WNBA, and these girls are hungry. They're hungry. They're showing off.
Yeah, this has actually been one of the more exciting seasons.
Even though like the Lynx lost, I mean, you got like Kalia, who normally is like putting up 20 to 30 points now. Her game, she was totally off. So, it's not to count them out for real. It's just, a lot of times that first game, you're seeing what you're against. A lot of players, they're set right before now, and they're better players that have been rehabbed, and they're pushing them out now. So it's just kind of, rewatching what's going on and kind of not making them same mistakes as previously. I think, for even the Sky, like I said, Courtney Williams, she stepped up and is playing point guard. I think the Aces got in their head. I think they were nervous, to be honest. I don't think that they would have potentially had a 30-point loss. They probably would have lost, but I think it would have been a closer game if they seemed like they were nervous. They had, I mean,
that's natural.
Mabry is a good baller. She's good with threes, and it just wasn't there last night. So I think a lot of nerves played a factor, and it's evident that upsets are real.
Yeah, so, all right, so there you have it, outsiders. I mean, Sherelle is Philly back in the home team to make it out of this thing. And, I'm liking the pick, too. One of the hardest things to do in the sports realm is to repeat a championship. It's not easy. That's why it doesn't happen often. So, the Las Vegas Aces definitely have a target on their backs. And, how nice would it be to see, the Washington Mystics take it all, man. I mean, they have such a talented squad. And, the cohesiveness, when it's together, they look fantastic. I mean, that last game against New York Liberty just really lets you know the potential, and also lets you know that they still got some growth, which I think they will get in these first couple of games, to be better. And like you say, making corrections, fixing mistakes and things like that. So, yeah, I'm totally down. I love the pick. I called all my prayer warriors. We praying on it and everything. So, big up to the Washington Mystics, and we definitely hope that they get things started off in the right foot up there at Barclays with the New York Liberty. Hey, Sherelle, look, I know we said we kept you a little bit longer than we said we would, and I know you're trying to get to this baseball game, so I'm going to let you go. I thank you so much for coming through and chopping it up with us on the WNBA tip. I hope you enjoyed yourself and would like to come back again before the playoffs. Hey, listen.
Just let me know.
Hey, Mark, dog.
Yeah.
Sherelle came with the heat today, yo. I mean, she sounded like she was ready for freaking ESPN out here, yo.
I'm just saying, if somebody listening want to give me a job, I'm from the hospital. I promise you I am.
I can dig it. Hey, baby, thank you so much. Have fun tonight. I can't wait to get up with you tomorrow. And like I said, outsiders, me and Sherelle will be out there for JABO Day at the yard, Adams Jones Day at the yard. And, I'll talk to you real soon, Sherelle.
All right, peace and blessings, y'all. Thank you.
All right, have a good one. Mark,
Yes,
man.
ma'am.
How about that? That was like, I think that might have been one of the best WNBA conversations we've had on the show.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm not like the biggest keeper upper on it, but
Yeah.
now I feel like I need to do some homework.
Yo, me too. I'm sitting up here listening to her like, okay, I definitely need to step my game up because she just took this conversation and ran with it. I felt like there was very little input that needed on my end. I mean, she was so knowledgeable, and that's really why I wanted her to come on because, she's one of the few friends that I had that really really is intense with her fandom with the WNBA. And, really brought me along. I mean, she taught me some things this season, man. I will always continue to be a student of sports because, hey, I mean, outsiders, realistically, Mark and I are just two people. And, it's very hard. And let me not just say, we're not just two people, but we are two working people. Okay, we got jobs, too. So it is hard to, keep track and really stay on top of everything without any assistance. We don't have any assistance. We don't have anybody gathering stats for us or anything like that. So, I really appreciated Sherelle, bringing me along. I mean, she took me 3 games this year, man. I mean, I went from not having seen a WNBA game to going to 3 games in one season. That was huge for me, man.
Nice.
And I really appreciate the love and knowledge that she has bestowed upon me this year, man. It's been great. It's great.
Awesome.
Really great. Hell yeah. Well, let's keep things moving. In a few minutes that we have left for the night, we're going to talk some Thursday night football. Excuse me, guys. And my allergies have just been getting me every which way today.
Same.
But,
same.
you too? God,
Yeah.
and it's crazy because I feel like over the past couple of weeks, they haven't been that bad. But today they definitely on one.
Yep.
But, back to football, though. But before we get into the Thursday night matchup between the Eagles and the Vikings, Mark, I want to talk a little bit about Week 1 in the NFL.
Okay.
And one thing that really stood out to me when we're talking about all the games in general. I want to put this out here for you. I'm gonna put this piece of pizza out here for you to chew on.
Uh-oh.
Yo, and I talked a little bit about this with Jana yesterday too. The quarterback play, okay. And I'm talking like across the board. Of course, we had some quarterbacks that perform better than others, but I saw a whole lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
I saw a whole lot of turnovers. The biggest one being, I'm going to say to the untrained eye, but really I am one of the untrained eyes. But when we were watching that game against the Jets, and we saw Aaron Rodgers go there and everything, it was like, holy shit, that was crazy. The football earth tilted on its axis. Everything was just like crazy. But then you go to the next day, right? And you're looking at highlights. You're looking at everybody breaking down tape and breaking down the particular play that Aaron Rodgers got injured on, right? And I was listening to Marcus Spears on ESPN, and he broke it down and showed that this injury that Aaron Rodgers sustained was due to making a huge mistake. You had a veteran out there making a mistake, and ultimately, paying the price for that. Now, going back to what I said originally, we saw a lot of turnovers, we saw a lot of interceptions. What the fuck was Josh Allen doing? And not even the cleanest play with our own Lamar Jackson. I wanted to ask you, one, did you notice that? Well, okay, let me ask you that first. Did you notice that?
Oh yeah. The QB play all across the league looked kind of whack.
It was shitty. I mean, like, seriously, kind of whack. Marcus being his usual sweet self, but I'm gonna come with it. It was crappy. I was appalled on a lot of ends. Like, seriously, appalled with a whole lot of people except for maybe Tua, which is crazy. Oh, I'm sorry. No. Let me not forget my baby. Tua and Dak Prescott. To me, they got A pluses in my book, but everybody else, they was looking real 50 to me, So you agree with me on that? The second thing I want to ask you, man, like, I'm going to put this out there, and I know how people feel about preseason games and the importance of it all, dude. Do these teams need to consider? Because consider playing these quarterbacks something. They got to do something in the preseason. Because there is nothing that you can, nothing prepares you for games other than being in game time, real time situations.
Well, remember last week I brought that up as a concern for Lamar.
Yeah, you did. You did. I got to give you props on that.
It did shine through on Lamar, but then go back and look at the example I gave, and that was Patrick Mahomes. And what did he put up? Like, he had Clowney or County or whatever his name is dropping the ball all over the place.
Yeah, and that's all part of cohesiveness. And the only way you get that is through consistency of play. So are you feeling me? Because I came up, I said, I don't think it would hurt for quarterbacks, your QB ones, your starters, to play at least, 10 minutes. Or maybe half of a first quarter each game. I think it's definitely worth thinking about. How do you feel about that?
A couple series, yeah, that's perfect. Get them in game situations.
Yeah, and we cannot sit back and rest on the fear of, if they get hurt in the preseason, that shit does not matter, because as you can see with Aaron Rodgers, your ass can get hurt the first game. Your ass can get hurt the first 4 snaps. I think we should throw that logic out of the window, man. And, I was just really underwhelmed with the quarterback play of week 1.
Oh, yeah.
I really was. And I gave a shout out to Tua. I gave a shout out to Dak. There's one other shout out I gotta give. Man, I did not watch the game. I did not see any of the highlights. But Baker Mayfield in his return.
Baker Mayfield.
One day. Yeah.
Oh, isn't he with Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, put the beat down on those Minnesota. That was a huge underdog. I got to pat myself on the back because I won my pick'em pool this week. But in my pool, I was the only person to pick Tampa Bay over Minnesota. I'm a part of 2 pools. One has 40 people in it, and the other one has, I think, about 25, maybe 27. And it was the same thing in both leagues. You only had 1 or 2 people going on the ledge and believing in Baker Mayfield. But to me, the logic was pretty straightforward. Like, the Minnesota Vikings lost a big chunk of offense with Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
I know, Jeffries is the guy, but he is not the guy. He is not the Tyreek Hill. You understand what I'm saying by that?
Yeah.
He's not going to put up those type of numbers, which is what the Minnesota Vikings would need to win. So for me, it was a no-brainer. knee jerk, like, yo, I'm going with, Tampa Bay. You already know how I feel about Kirk Cousins. I really feel like his time should be limited in the NFL. But, that's neither here nor there. That's another discussion. But yeah, man, I mean, like, as far as the other quarterbacks were concerned, I was a little disappointed. And I think, I don't know if we'll see those changes next year, but, here at JABO, we just like to throw shit out there for real.
Exactly.
That's what we like to do. Yeah. So, speaking of the Minnesota Vikings, we got another matchup tonight. I think this is going to shake up to be a good game because, like, honestly, too, I was a little disappointed with the Philadelphia Eagles last week as well.
Oh yeah, Jalen Hurts definitely qualified under that bad quarterback play.
Yeah, he looked like hot fucking shit. He did not look like a Super Bowl quarterback for real.
Nope.
So, let's go ahead and talk about tonight's matchups. We got the Philadelphia Eagles. They're on the road, right? They're in Minnesota.
No, it's in Philly.
Oh, it's in Philly. Oh, well, that'll help them out. That's a good one for them. Yeah, so we got the Minnesota Vikings on the road to take on the, Super Bowl NFC representing Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles barely escaped a win against a New England Patriots team that did not look good at all either. Like, seriously, boy, Belichick's got to be shitting his pants right now. But yes, it was a narrow victory for them. They barely escaped that joint. What are the keys for tonight, Mark, with tonight's matchup with the Eagles and Vikings?
I mean, like, the focus of the show earlier was quarterback play. That's got to be big. I'm not a big Kirk Cousins fan either, but he actually did ball out last week. 31 of 44, 344 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did have 1 interception, but that happens. That's some big numbers, and if he puts up numbers like that again, they could win the game. But it is there in Philly, and I think Jalen Hurts is a next level quarterback above where Cousins is. He's the guy that likes to be the guy. He likes to win. And I think last week's play probably motivated him to put through. The line's at 6. I don't know if it's going to get that high, but
it's way too many points. I'm sorry,
it'll be a close
way
one.
Too many points.
Yeah, but
are we in agreement?
The Eagles
with Minnesota +6, but are we in agreement about the +6 though?
Oh yeah.
I like the +6. If you guys, if the Minnesota Vikings +6 is too scary for you, go ahead and take the Philadelphia Eagles on the money line. What I am expecting, and Sherelle made mention of it earlier, it's got to be. It was, for lack of a better expression, just a lackluster performance by the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm pretty sure they looked at lots of tape. They're going to try to make some corrections there. And, I'm really looking for Philadelphia Eagles to right the ship tonight and put up a better performance, especially, more so on offense than defense. I mean, they just really looked kind of out of sorts on offense, which we definitely weren't accustomed to with the Philadelphia Eagles last year. So are we cool with that? That's make the easy money pick. Eagles on the money line?
Yeah.
Can we do that one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That'll be the final easy money pick for the night. Outsiders, go ahead and book it. You still got some time as the game does not start until about 8:15. So, yeah, Philadelphia Eagles for the money. Go ahead and book that one. I think I've taken care of everything on the menu tonight. Mark, is there anything that you wanted to talk about before we sign off for the evening?
Well, I mean, we got a big divisional game coming up. Do we want to talk about it this weekend again, or just drop some extras, or because I know you
okay.
You got busy.
Yeah. What I want to do because so let's go back to last week. So the Bengals was one of my easy money picks, and they disappointed me greatly. Okay, I was not able to watch that game Mark, how about we watch Sunday's game and we do an intense Raven review on both of these quarterbacks and both of these squads.
Okay.
You know, I mean, we got two quarterbacks that just got the bag, two quarterbacks who went out there last week and did not show that they deserved the bag. I think that it would be great for us to, you know, just really take our time, watch the game, and come up with you know, analysis not only for the quarterbacks for both teams, you know, as a whole, because there are a lot of people out there that's like, man, that really believe in the Bengals and are really looking for them to make another stink this season, you know. Yeah. And from what I saw in the highlights, you know, those hopes might be wasted from last week. Sorry, Jay, but I think it would be great for us to, you know, just we'll table that conversation until next week, because what I do think is.
Keisha?
A lot about the Ravens game.
Oh, you cut out.
Can you hear me?
A little bit, yeah.
Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry about that, guys. What was the last thing I said?
You were like just about to say something about the game.
Yeah, we didn't spend a lot of time talking about the Ravens game against Houston, but there are a lot of things at play here. You know, we lost J.K. Dobbins. Yeah. We really only got one catch out of Odell Beckham. You know, and I'm thinking, you know, he's going to be incorporated more. There's going to be some changes and things like that. So there's going to be a lot of things to look at during this game and to talk about next show. So are you cool with tabling that conversation for next week?
Absolutely. And I think we're both going to root for the Ravens. Fun. So, you know.
Yeah. Go ahead and go ahead. Actually, this is the final easy money pick for the night. Go ahead and take them Ravens, man. I don't know what the points are. I don't even want the points. Take the Ravens on the money.
There you go.
Take the Ravens on the money. The Cincinnati Bengals are not the Houston Texans. Okay? So, take the Ravens on the money, guys. All right. I think that's just about it for tonight.
Yep.
All right. You guys, thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you for tuning in. As always, share that link. Share that love. Get us out there. We love chopping it up with you guys. Enjoy. Have a great fantasy week. I hope all of your picks come through. I hope all of my easy money picks come through, and I continue to look like the genius that I am. And have a great weekend. Can't wait for Adam Jones Day tomorrow. You know how we end the show. Baltimore spread love, yo. Keep clean. I am Keisha. On the other end of the line is my favorite slice of pizza, Mark. And we are just a bit outside. Peace.